90% of all traded goods travel by water, and millions of tons of those goods are forced through a single precarious trench in the Egyptian desert. The Suez Canal holds an absolute monopoly on the shortest maritime route between Europe and Asia. When that artery gets blocked, like we saw in 2021 when a massive container ship wedged itself perfectly across the banks, the global supply chain freezes. Billions of dollars in trade evaporate every single day the water stops flowing. For over a century and a half, the entire planet has relied on this one narrow shortcut. Nations have built their modern economies assuming this single point of failure would always remain open, leaving the world without a viable backup plan. Relying on a 150-year-old choke point leaves the modern global economy exposed. Fixing that systemic vulnerability requires an alternative route that most engineers once considered physically impossible. In 1963, the United States government drafted a highly classified memorandum detailing a specific plan to break that Egyptian monopoly. The proposal bypassed traditional excavation in favor of raw power, using massive nuclear explosives to literally blast a brand new canal into existence. While the idea of using atomic bombs for landscaping was eventually scrapped, the physical blueprint for that 160-mile trench survived. Today, as supply chains face increasing physical and political threats, the desperation for a secondary ocean corridor has reached a breaking point. That terrifying Cold War blueprint is officially making a comeback. The original classified proposal came straight out of the Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory, drafted by top scientists operating at the height of the Cold War. Their objective was to carve a sea-level waterway through the Negev Desert, an environment defined by unforgiving solid rock and steep mountain ridges. This side profile illustrates the core physics of the plan. By burying over 500 nuclear charges and detonating them in rapid sequence, the subterranean explosions would violently displace the bedrock, carving out a deep, continuous crater for the ocean to fill. Government scientists treated these atomic excavators as a genuine, heavily researched engineering solution, a typical example of the era's radical approach to logistical hurdles. The sheer audacity of the 1963 plan highlights just how impenetrable this specific stretch of land is for standard mechanical digging equipment. The proposed route begins in the Red Sea at the Gulf of Aqaba, bypassing the Suez. Cutting north through desert topography, the path navigates extreme elevations, stretching 100 kilometers longer than its Egyptian rival before terminating at the Mediterranean Sea. Executing this 160-mile trench today using conventional construction methods carries an astronomical price tag, with estimates soaring well past $100 billion. Building a $100 billion trench through solid rock is a logistical nightmare. To justify that investment, the project must offer a massive, tangible geopolitical advantage. That advantage comes directly at the expense of Egypt. For decades, Cairo has used its control over the Suez to charge huge transit fees and exert diplomatic pressure on global trade. These data bars model the impact of a second canal. We see a massive volume of commercial shipping traffic draining directly out of the Suez and filling the new Ben Gurion route. This sudden diversion would strip Egypt of its primary economic lifeline, neutralizing their strongest source of regional leverage. All of that leverage transfers to Israel. By hosting the only viable alternative to the Suez, they would gain strategic and financial control over the most crucial artery connecting Europe and Asia.
Like, share, and comment. Subscribe.